Pete, it's interesting, man. I mean, so much of real life is intertwined in the sports that we cover, right?
Yeah, man, and sometimes life just takes you out and you've got to do some stuff, which you can't come to work sometimes.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
I know,
Oh, well,
right?
we're back.
Yeah.
And it's not that we haven't been working, we just haven't been on the air.
We've been working. I've been sleeping a little bit.
Hey, there you
go. Not enough.
Yeah, no,
actually.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't sleep that much. I mean, what do
They,
you do?
what do they say? You can sleep when you die.
That's what I usually say, actually.
My problem is that I'll get everything done during the day, and I'll finally get to work on the great basketball boat.
Yeah.
And then it's 1, and it's 2, it's 2:30. I just kind of tell myself, I have to go home. I have to go to sleep now. I can't do this anymore. But I wish I could work all night, but somehow have a part of me sleep on another plane so I can be rested and still work. Is that a workaholic?
It probably is, man.
It's a fun-aholic.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it, though?
It's getting great, man.
It is. Basketball is where it's, I mean...
The Vital again.
You're pretty much, a few weeks ago we talked about how it was going to get a little bit slow in basketball with, the subpar teams playing.
Right. You cycle through the average group.
And now it's just coming around.
The next 2 weeks.
We're looking at 2 districts that are pretty much, I don't know, man. Well, at least 31. I mean, they're pretty much there. I mean, Rowe, obviously. I mean,
you've got the geological plates in order, I believe, for the most part. That 3 and 4 will change a bit. The tumultuous race is going to be over in 30.
Exactly.
There's 3 teams tied for first and 1 in the boys, and then the girls have 3 teams that are right there. So tonight is a big night. You got Donna and Vela over in Donna. Next week and the week beyond is when the Velas, the Sharylands, and North all play each other. Vela, by the way, has the toughest road, but they also have a very, very good momentum streak going right now.
They do. I mean, they haven't lost off their momentum. I mean, the points they average is just insane. That's a lot of points.
Yeah. And you know what's great about Vela is that they're a very unselfish team. For the most part, they have a bunch of kids who run the court and pass the ball and go to the goal and just do the best they can. They're also a pretty good shooting team. So, I'm very impressed with them. I think that when they get a chance, and we're not going to get past Donna here, they're going to play Donna. But when they play North again, I believe they would play a better game. And they lost by 23, and it was one-sided last time. So that will be a better game. Now, what will Vela Sharyland boys turn out looking like in the end? Who knows? The next 2 weeks are going to be phenomenal, because especially in the boys, but the girls is just as highly contested, man.
Yeah, it is. And going back to those boys before we continue, that Sharyland Vela game, I mean, we were there at the end of the year, and it was just
amazing.
It was crazy. So
fireworks.
What Sharyland needs to do is, keep Scotchy out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
And I think they'd be able to handle Vela, because that's what it looked like when he was in the game.
Neither Vela nor Sharyland have what North has, which is senior experience at the key positions, right? I mean, you got 3 seniors, the twins, and Alex got us right there. Ramos is a senior, but he didn't play last year. So in other words, seniors who played in the big games. North should be the favorite to win coming down the stretch here because they have the most experienced team. And let's face it, man, I mean, they also have a very explosive team as well.
They do, yeah.
Take your pick, Vela nor Sharyland. It's amazing. And the Economides and Donna are still trying to work their way in.
That's why it's going to come down to the last week. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the stretch.
Seniors matter, okay? Seniors can win you a district title. Here's another thing that can win you a district title. I was thinking about it all week. What is the basketball IQ of your team?
Yeah.
Some teams play the way they play, and good or bad, they're going to keep playing that way because they either can't or won't do anything different.
You have finesse, you have street.
Yeah.
Going to be.
But if you have a team that can be versatile enough to figure out what's being done in the game and what needs to change and then play that way, those are the best teams. That's why the Bobcats were always the class of the city, because, and it was very much illustrated in the last 2 minutes of the games, of the quarters, of the periods, they just played smarter basketball.
Yeah.
And they didn't take bad shots for the most part. I mean, they weren't geniuses. But I mean, in other words, my point is the best teams have basketball IQ, and they can change on the fly. Some teams will keep plodding along in one direction, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like a Buffalo run.
Sure.
Just wait till they stop, But the best teams, and that's usually seniors, can North do that against the rivals they have coming up? That will be the key, because senior leadership should be enough for them to win.
I don't know. I mean, we're not really in the business of, taking, not that you're taking favorites. I don't know. You got to pick somebody, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm not picking them per se. I'm saying if senior leadership asserts itself, North will win.
Yeah.
If Pistacaccia averages 35, 10, and 10, Sharyland will win. Now, here's the thing. And he can.
Yeah, he can.
What are they going to get from the other perimeter players? I noticed that Von Rosenberg, old school, he's been scoring a bit lately. He had 10, he had 11. He's a tricky player, man. So in other words, which of those guys are going to step up and give help? And again, with Sharyland, we've been saying for weeks, what is the mesh with the new kid?
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. If they get it together and play the way they can, then they can win the district. Vela's got to be considered the third dog in the hunt just because it's so new to the whole fight.
Exactly, but you cannot count that team out.
Exactly.
That team has a lot of fight, and their young players have a lot of fight, and they're becoming smarter as the season comes along.
Yeah, they are learning. Their basketball IQ is going up every week. Agreed. Speaking of young guys for them, I've been impressed with Hector Ruiz lately. 12. He's gotten taller this season. I bet you he's 6'1" now, and he's real long, and he can dribble, and he's sneaky because if you're not careful, he's by you to the goal.
Yeah.
Blink. De La Cruz is the same way. That freshman, 34. They got a bunch of long kids, and they can all pass the ball pretty well, including Mark Castillo, number 1, the junior. I love that kid, man. He doesn't come up big in the box scores if you're looking at numbers, but he always does stuff that contributes. Always.
There was always plays when the last time I saw him, he made a play that needed to be made, and he kept him in the game.
Yeah, and he's the kind of kid who will go up in a pile and tip the ball, and another kid will get it and score.
Yeah.
Jay Gonzalez the same way. I now have taken to calling him Jay because I used to call him Jaden, then Jalen, then Rodriguez Gutierrez. Wonderful player, number 24, and his dad is always after me. Get his name right, and I'm so sorry. I'm gonna call him Jay because that's easy. And you know what? That kid is one of the best players in the Valley. I'm gonna tell you why. Another kid, he's not gonna come score 20 points, but he's gonna do so many things in the course of a game to help you win. He's just a great kid to have on the team. He can rebound. He's quicker than you think. He'll play defense, and he's smart. That's a good-sized, strong kid who's smart. No, Vela does have a chance to win it. I say they're number 3 at dog in the hunt because they are lacking that experience. My colleague says that their learning experience, their basketball IQ is improving every week, and I think I agree.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a great race, because who knows who?
Well, let's talk about a great race for second. Unfortunately,
Nah.
I mean, what are you going to do? Rowe's 10-0. I mean, one of their best players went down, and they just kept rolling through that district. I mean, they don't seem to slow down, and I don't think they're going to slow down.
JoJo's tough, man. That's the missing link right there. They held PSJA at 31 points.
Yeah.
Didn't score a ton, but they didn't have to. That was a game they needed, man. They needed to be challenged.
So next, I mean, PSJA, Memorial, McHi. PSJA and Memorial, they're 8-2.
2 losses each. PSJA plays the Raiders, and they struggled the first time. It was a close game.
They did struggle the first time, and now they're going to PSJA North, which it might be a little bit more difficult. You never know.
I think it will.
I mean, it's just face it, home court advantage is home court advantage, and it should be just as packed as it was before. Who's going to show up? I mean, PSJA though, they're hot.
Yeah,
I mean, they really are hot.
I think they're the better team. I think PSJA North has been struggling a little bit lately. In order for them to stay in the race, they need to beat these cats, and they can do it.
They can, but it's like we were saying about the other district. It comes down to that IQ. I mean, they're very, very young. I mean, I think they've got 2 or 3 freshmen on that team.
Yeah, a couple of twins. Yeah. So they're a coming team, but you can't expect freshmen to know how to play on the varsity level. You really, I mean, it very rarely happens. Chuy Guerra at Roma in the 70, 69. That guy hit the court automatically knowing how to play. But 9 times out of 10, the kid's going to have to learn his way in. Ryan Garza for Vela is a freshman of some note.
I mean, PSJA North, they've got an uphill battle to climb if they want to sneak into the playoffs.
Jaime will have him saying that too. Our backs are against the wall, and let's do it. So that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a struggle.
Right now, McHi's in the 4th spot at 6-4, who have been hanging in there. And
15 and 11. They're not bad,
showing their grit. I mean, they're doing really good. I mean,
they've been rebounding better. I think Dion Ellis had 13 rebounds.
Like I said, it's a race for second, and who's going to come out with it? I mean, I really don't see Rowe losing a game. That's just my prediction. I mean, saw him a lot of times. You saw him without Gatling, and it was just as good. I mean, their depth on the bench is
they're
really
the best
really
team
good.
in the They're the best team in the band.
So we'll see what happens.
What about the McAllen girls? Yeah. I am wondering if Sydney Pimbleton, the freshman, is related to John Pimbleton and Billy Pimbleton in Weslaco, Mercedes area from the 40s through the 70s. Unbelievable track athletes. In fact, one of them went to the Olympics.
There you go.
Yeah, they were an amazing family. And that's kind of an odd name, so I assume that she's part of the same group. Her and Kathy Maravilla came back. A little bitty guard who I always thought she was a pretty effective player, had missed a bunch of games. So McAllen's getting right at the right time, man. They're right there. PSJA's playing better. They're out of nowhere. Ceci Garza is the player for them. And then the other team is San Benito, who's hanging around. So, but they can make it. I think McAllen can make it.
So now, what about Weslaco? They're a player down, you know what I mean?
No, it's a terrible thing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like last year, the Los Fresnos chick got hurt. Remember we had 2 or 3 studs get hurt at the end of last year? What is this? Jinx. I hate it for that girl.
I mean,
she's a good player.
It's tough, man. It's a long season. It's not, I mean, obviously it's longer.
It's a grind. It's a grind.
But
no,
I mean,
physically.
It's long, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do about it?
basketball IQ, but also endurance and depth. So at this stage of the game, if you ain't got but 5 or 6 players, you're going to have a hard time. But if you got 7 or 8 or 9 who can play, see, that's why also makes North pretty good. And the girls, we'll transition into 35A girls for a bit.
Yeah.
That's what makes them good because they run a lot of bodies out there at you, or can. They're quick, they're aggressive. Economides, on the other hand, probably a better half-court team. They're very precision. They're a good team. But they don't go real deep.
Yeah.
So they have a tendency to get fatigued if they're not careful. You have to really, Marty has to really carefully look at the pace of that game. Vela wants pace, and when they get it, they can beat anybody.
Yeah.
And when they pass, they can beat anybody. That girls' race is very good, too.
It really is. Who do you see anybody
Vela's,
right now?
Vela's got the hardest road. They still got to play Sharyland, they still have to play North, and they started with Donna tonight. If they win that, then they deserve it. They're in. I mean, they're all in.
Yeah,
I mean, as district champs.
Definitely.
Sharyland is the one that's starting to look to me like it's playing better. 9-2. I don't know how you can say playing better. They're 9-2, but they're shooting the ball a little better, and they had struggled early in the season shooting the ball. The big kids got 8 and 9. Maddie Garza, little Bree De La Fuente, the point guard, is starting to play better basketball. That team, if I was going to pick a district champ, and you told me it was them, I would agree with you, brother. I mean, they could win it. North dropped that game down by 1 on the road. They had their chances. They're a team that if they can take the ball from you and make you turn over the ball, they'll win. But when they have to slow down and run it, sometimes they still have difficulties. Natalie Alanis, 18 and 14 against Sharyland and Vela the first round. So you're going to need to duplicate those points again because they're going to have to beat at least one of them. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
We'll see what happens. Let's transition onto the pitch, man.
Yeah. Soccer has arrived, and you can tell because it's kind of getting windy and cold.
Yeah, it is, man. You're just, and only at night too. During the day, it's been beautiful.
Yeah. These are salad days in the valley for sure.
So, Dinah Memorial, they fought off, La Copa La Frontera.
It was a good tournament, man. Yeah.
A shootout. What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
I like shootouts, man. I don't know. It's just. It gives you can, I don't know, I kind of get impatient. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
you want some gratification
I want something fast, man. But I can understand.
It's exciting too.
Yeah, exactly. So you see the shootouts and then you find, okay, all this build up and it finally worked out. And those goalkeepers, man, give them a lot of credit. They really stepped up for both of those teams.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They're out there on an island, all right? It's just you. And there you are in the whole stands and all the kids in their lines, and if you stop them, you're the hero, and if you don't, you're the GOAT. It is instant, sudden death. That's tough.
The hero was Luis Reyes, and but Memorial's David Almaraz. He made some stops that needed to be made, and just came down to 1-0, man. What are you going to do?
So Memorial goes to the final of the Copa Frontera. I think they have a pretty good shot at being a good soccer team. I really do. So does McAllen.
So do I, yeah. And, today, McHi and Rowe, they face off. First city matchup, and we'll see what happens there. Girls and boys. You
get the first shot. You get the first punch. You beat the other team, especially if you beat them on the road. So we're just beginning the slog in soccer. Any other notes on who's going to be good in that district? Hey, how about the girls from Memorial?
Yeah.
Went up there and won a tournament in Corpus. I don't care where you go. If you win a tournament that ain't there, that's good.
Yeah, that really is. And I think they're going to be good.
Remember last year, they're all great.
Yeah,
the city was great.
It really was.
Soccer was amazing.
McAllen really does step it up in soccer the last couple of years. And Memorial and Sherry went at it not too long ago.
That's right, 1 or 2, right? No, I think we're looking at an amazing race, particularly in the girls.
Yeah, and then so you got Sherry in your district. And you got there's no slouches in Edinburg also.
No, there's no slouches in Edinburg. The La Joyas are tough.
Yeah.
And if the Edinburg schools are going to have to hustle this year, I'm getting ready to get a look at almost all the teams this week. I'm going to make it a soccer week. And
that's
preparation
what
for basketball.
I do like about soccer is you get those La Joyas in the mix. It's fine.
Man, they raise your game to another level because they're just quick and can handle. Man, they've been playing soccer since they were little bitty kids.
That's their sport.
Darn right it is, man. And when you beat one of them, you know you beat somebody.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah, so it's getting good. The grind. I don't see. It's just going to get better.
I feel like this, no fewer than 2 years ago, we had 5 out of 6 teams in the city in the playoffs. Yeah. It was a great era. We are going to see where the transition leads us this time because we lost a lot of good players in the city. I still feel like those teams have a chance to be really competitive. I will know more, and I'll be able to look at tea leaves in the next couple of weeks. My gut tells me the North girls will be good, and Economides. My gut also tells me that look out for improvement in the Vela boys. Those are just the initial readings. But like I said, after a couple of weeks of sitting through these double headers, which are wonderful,
Yeah,
really, they wear you out. But at the same time, you see everybody playing, you can ask people questions and get pictures. It's a great thing. I'm so happy soccer's here. I don't want it to interfere with the basketball because we're coming down to the denouement.
It won't. And then when basketball comes to an end, the soccer will pick up and
then
it's just transition, yeah.
Track meet. Now here's I want to ask before we get out of here. There is a rumor in town that there's going to be an intercity track meet between all the schools on a Thursday, and I think it's this Thursday. I have not been able to find out when and where that is. If anybody out there knows, give us an email or call the paper, 682-2423,
Yeah.
and let us know where that is, because I definitely want to go. I got some feelers out to the coaches. I want to see that because I'm really fired up for track. We're going to be tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of athletes on there, fast ones too.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
What else is
it,
there?
man. That's it for right now.
Basketball,
track,
soccer?
man, really.
Yeah, track, yeah.
Track meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of an intramural thing, a practice meet, because I think in early February they start out at Donna and the winter relay. So, and boy, talk about a scouting trip. I'll be over that like a pair of pants, but I'm checking it out because I want to know who does what to whom. Vela was good at track last year, and I think they're going to be better.
There you go. I think that's it for right now, man. Let's get out and watch some games.
Yeah, I have to tell you this. I'm probably going to be rooting for Denver, although. Do you remember in the old days when Denver and Seattle were in the same division?
Yeah.
The AFC West. It was way back when. I hated both of those teams because when I was a little kid, my team was the Raider.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was the biggest Raider fan in the 70s ever. Maybe because I was sort of an outlaw at that point anyway. So Jack Tatum was my favorite player. No cards and letters. Tatum, Blitnikoff, and Stabler. So I think but I can't root for Denver because part of me is still a Raiders fan. I'm like, how can you root for Denver? There's no way. Denver was the hated team.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still undecided on who I'm going to root for. I like both cities. They're both nice cities, and I'm leaning towards Seattle. That's all I have to say.
It's Western dominance. You can say AFC or NFC, but golly.
We'll see what happens, though.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Where's the Super Bowl? Oh, but that's the thing. It's going to be in New Jersey. What?
That's the NFL's dumb fault, and they should have never done that. That's all I have to say on that.
What do you think the odds are that it's...
Farmer's Almanac said snow.
Well, that'll be interesting. We'll find out who the tougher team is. I'm Greg Selber. This is Pete Pettis. This is Talking Sports. We love what we do. We want to hear from you guys, especially about that track meet.